want to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. A mother of four was reportedly erased by her ex-girlfriend in Atlanta, Georgia earlier this week. Shakaya Perkins, the victim's ex-girlfriend, fatally wounded Cornisha Butler on Thursday. Friends and family claim that Butler had a restraining order against Perkins because she burned the young mother's Mercedes-Benz last year and stalked her for months after their breakup. Perkins is also stated to have been envious of Butler and committed acts in front of their children. Butler ended their relationship many months ago, and on social media posts from acquaintances indicated that the former pair had a history of problems domestically. Throughout the course of their 6 year partnership, Perkins published a mysterious Facebook post from the day before Butler passed away about starting again and forgetting the past. Perkins was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, possession of a firearm or weapon, and cruelty to children as posted by the Fulton County Police Department. Her previous records were related to the burning of Butler's vehicle back in October of 2021. So one of the main things that I've always stated on this platform is that Black women need to pay attention to the warning signs that are directly out there that a person is obviously given, any type of red flags. So this is the police report from 9/25, 2021, and this is from Officer Braun. He stated, upon arrival, the officer saw a 2008 Jeep Wrangler fully engulfed in flames in the driveway, right? The flames then moved to the 2012 Mercedes Benz next to the residence, which was owned by Butler's brother, Terrence Jenkins, where the vehicles were parked. The owner of the vehicles, Cornisha Butler, advised she was inside the home with her boyfriend and four children when she saw an orange light and noticed her vehicles on fire in the driveway. Butler advised she suspects her separated partner, Shakaya Perkins, of the cause of the vehicle's fires. Ms. Perkins drives a gray Dodge Challenger and has been giving issues to Ms. Butler in the past few weeks. The neighbors next door have a Ring camera that caught a vehicle matching Ms. Perkins' vehicle approach the driveway just before the vehicles caught fire. Ms. Butler's cousin, Amber Butler, advised the officers that when she was on her way to the residence, she believes that she saw Ms. Perkins in her vehicle leaving the subdivision. They later stated South Fulton Fire Department arrived and extinguished the flames of both vehicles and the residence. Both vehicles suffered major damages, and there is damage to the residence garage and roof as well. So I just want to say my apologies because you might not be able to read it because of the brightness. So I'm going to read it aloud. So these are just some stats dealing with same sex relationships and the things that take place. Number one, 43.8% of lesbian women and 61.1% of bisexual women have experienced R or physical V and or stalking by an intimate partner at some point in their lifetime, as opposed to 35% of heterosexual women. Number two, 26% of gay men and 37.3% of bisexual men have experienced R or physical V and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime, in comparison to 29% of heterosexual men. Number three, in a study of male same-sex relationships, only 26% of men called the police for assistance after experiencing near lethal V. Number four, in 2012, fewer than 5% of LGBTQ survivors of intimate partner V sought orders of protection. All right, so before I continue, I just want to give a shout out to Pink Book Lessons. I want to say that she was one of the first, if not the only ones, really talking about this. Because before her, I didn't hear hide nor hair of this story. Didn't see anybody mentioning this. It really didn't come across my timeline on any of my social medias. And so the main thing that I want to say is this, right? So For a lot of the women out there, the main things that I always tell y'all is that if you keep trying to focus on the main things that have always been persistent, that have always been present, you're going to end up missing a lot of other things. Now, when I went through and got these statistics dealing with the LGBTQ and same sex relationships, it was staggering to find out the amount of individuals that go through this, on top of the fact of how unreported it is. Because they even said on their own websites, and these are people who are also a part of the LGBTQ, right? They stated on their own websites that these things are underreported by mainstream media. Because what tends to happen is that people focus more on heterosexual relationships and the things that happen in them, that persist within them. And they tend to overlook a lot of these things. So, yet again, this is when I tell a lot of Black women, you have women out there that are amongst you, right? You guys say that you support and that you love people who are part of the LGBT. You are supporters, you are allies. So why is it that as a whole, y'all not out here speaking on this? Why is it? Even within my own life, I've seen women who are in same-sex relationships do things like this. And I'm talking about just out there in public, not even caring. So, like I said, these are things that I've been able to see throughout my life. And then to the age that I am right now, now I'm reading stories. Continuously, I'm reading stories and seeing these things take place online. I've covered stories like this before, put out stats like this before. And then, oddly enough, whenever I put up these stats and I say these things, magically people want to either ignore it or they want to tell me that it's not my place and it's not my business. I don't really have a right to really speak on this because I'm a heterosexual male and yada yada yada. And like I said before, it's either people want this to be known, want it to be out there, or y'all just don't want it to be there. It's either y'all just want everything to seem like, raindrops and cherries and sun all day, or I don't know. Because like I said before, it comes to a point in time where I can agree that certain things are underreported and things are not reported due to the fact that those in the community don't want them to be reported. Because the main thing about it is that how everything has been presented when it dealt with relationships that are same sex is that, once all of this takes place, it's like these are the people that are happy, they are sure about themselves, they know themselves, they love themselves, they finally went through all of the turmoil and the troubles and the obstacles in life in order to reach this final destination to say that, this is who I am and I'm proud of who it is that I am. So once you have all of that basically there, and it's all happiness and sunshine, you have a story like this. And you have to basically think, what a community who is so proud of themselves, so happy, and presents themselves as, sugar, sunshine, and sprinkles all day long. Do they really want something like this to rain down on that message or that parade? So this is why, yet again, I say, which one is it? Do you want this to be reported or do you want it to stay underreported so that you can only, shine a light on the positive things that you want to show people, right? Versus actually showing the reality, which is same sex relationships have the exact same problems and troubles, right, as heterosexual relationships. And looking by the stats, you actually go through it a lot more than what heterosexual people actually go through. But like I said before, these are not stats and numbers that are given to the general public. These are on blogs, these are on websites. In some instances, you can even go through the CDC and find a lot of these numbers, if not higher numbers. So, like I said, my condolences to the family, to the friends, and especially to the children because they lost a mother. And obviously, the ex girlfriend did not care because she decided a few years ago to burn up the car or two, and which led to the house also receiving fire damage as well, knowing the fact that the kids and her are also in there. She still decided to do this because she was emotional and wanted to send a message. Like I said, for the women out there, I don't know what to tell y'all. You can continuously have people out here every single day trying to tell y'all to pay attention to the red flags, the signs, and the symptoms, but it only comes to a time where people want to pay attention to signs and symptoms, or they want to theorize these signs and symptoms when it deals with men being in a relationship with women. When it's women being in a relationship with other women, women don't really care about signs and symptoms because women are like, well, men have done me wrong and they've done this, they've done that. I'm more comfortable with women. I feel safer with women, and I'm going to overlook anything a woman does because it's a woman and they've never done anything to really harm me physically, mentally, or both. So, because you allow people that look just like you, another woman, to be with you, to be close to you, to have, that much, I don't know if you could say oversight, but to have that much reach, you decide within yourself to overlook a lot of the things that you would normally pay attention to, that would normally be deemed as a sign and a symptom of a type of cancer. And the main thing that I've told people about cancer is that there are signs and symptoms. And if you neglect to overlook those signs and symptoms, that means that cancer is going to spread. And once that cancer spreads and gets to a certain level, you're not going to be able to come back from it. So this black mother is not going to be able to come back from this because the signs and symptoms were present, they were there, and they were overlooked. And they were persistent. Like I said, it's a shame. So now the boyfriend is he's going to have to, raise the kids by himself. So the kids are without a mother. They're without that love and that compassion. They're without that shelter. They're without, in a sense, that nurturing aspect of a woman. Like I said, maybe a lot of these things would actually stop and they wouldn't be as persistent if somebody would actually talk about these things and they would actually tell women to other women that if a person says no and they don't want to be in a relationship, then they don't want to be in a relationship.